Hi guys, it's Phoebe from Ephemera Designs in Providence, Rhode Island, and today I'm going to show you possibly one of the most important things about making a wedding, which is the bridal bouquet. Our bride this week is actually really cool. She is into color and a little bit of tropical vibe and just lots of like splashy and bright pinks and corals and some purples and some pinks, so we're going to have some fun. And it's also August, so there's a lot of really, really beautiful local stuff, especially dahlias that are in this week. Some of this we grew, some of this we got from local farms, so I'm excited to work with that. So bridal bouquets are, if you've ever worked in a kitchen or somebody you know has, you'll know the term mise en place, which I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of, but it basically means everything in its place. And so the idea is like you want to have all of your ingredients and everything set up and ready to go so that when you're ready to make, you're ready to make. All your vegetables chopped and washed, etc. Bridal bouquets are really kind of the same, because once you have a big handful of flowers, it can get hard and complicated to start wrapping stuff. Not that it always stops me, but it's a good practice to get into. So, you want your clippers, you want some florist tape, you want some wire. This is called bind wire, so it's covered in this sweet little cardboard covering. But any sort of wire that you want to use is fine. This is nice because it doesn't cut into the stems quite as much as regular wire. And then a vase or a mason jar I honestly usually use for the bouquet when it's finished. So have that stuff on hand. And then you're going to start by stripping down the stems. So I'm going to start with my greens. This is all bush ivy, which is a local green that literally I have to say I got from Bush a couple streets away. So when you have a funky piece like this, you're really looking to kind of corral it as much into long straight stems with just a little bit of leaves at the top. So something like this, I'm going to snip off this piece on the side, and then I'm going to strip this piece down of all these little side shoots until I have something that looks about like this, or like this. This guy, I can do the same thing, strip off these side shoots and save these because these are gold in the smaller arrangements that you'll have to do later. Pull off the big leaves. And do this for all of the kind of greens and flowers that you have. So I'm going to do it with a little bit of eucalyptus. And then I'm going to start in on my flowers. So I take my dahlias, just peel off these little, any sort of scraps that might come off the side. So look at this, is a beautiful cafe au lait, which is like a dahlia that's usually really prized for its champagne color, but we are going to use the kind of pinky version today. The cafe au lait dahlia drives everybody crazy because on the exact same plant there can be flowers that are like creamy, that perfect champagne color, and then there are ones that can be pink, even on the same stem sometimes. So it can be really hard to predict and get exactly what you're. If you have a very specific color palette, sometimes it can drive you crazy. But that is another reason why it is so cool when clients are just understanding and down to let you play in the color, play in a whole range of colors. So just stripping away. Got my dahlias, I'm going to use some Lisianthus. So I think I said before, I am in love with Lisianthus. This is a variety called Falda. Yeah, you can always usually get really nice Lisianthus in the summer from flower farmers. So I just do this until I feel like I have enough flowers that I want to use in my bouquet. So today we're going to do something cool, which is that I'm going to show you a technique using chicken wire to make those like really beautiful, wild, spiraling bouquets that you see probably all over Instagram and wherever, that'll actually secretly help hold them together, because it's all about mechanics. So, cut your rectangular pieces of chicken wire, and then you're going to form them together into a kind of like long, oblong shape, pinching down these pieces of chicken wire as you go. It does not have to be beautiful or perfect because we are going to hide it. And there are actual products that you can buy out there that are this, basically just like a cage in this shape, but here's how you do it for cheap. So when you're all done, you have a kind of funky, lumpy pillow shape, and you're going to use that to feed your flowers through. So you can start with some greens if you like, and literally just put them through. In general, when you're making bouquets, you always want to angle the stems through and in a circular motion. So I'm basically putting, as I put the stem through, I'm holding it with my hand, and I'm making sure that all the stems are going the same direction. Kind of like you're making a spiral staircase. All the stems are gonna spiral around each other. That will keep it relatively organized. And the nice thing about this too is it makes it super easy to hold. Sometimes it can get really a lot to hold a ton of bouquet stems at once. So I'm just letting some greens drip over the sides. All right, cool. So, feeding, I got a good foundation of greens by now. I'm just making sure too to feed in on the sides, not just the top, so that we're kind of starting to cover the chicken wire all the way around. So, very hip in 2019 to have a bouquet full of all greens, but we are gonna add in some cool fun stuff. So, now you get to start adding the flowers in. And to kind of make it messy and textural and beautiful, you can let things all fall in at different heights. Always be sure to spin your bouquet around too, so that you can really get a sense of what it looks like from all different directions. And this is your chance to literally just have fun and put in whatever you want, really. And sometimes it can be nice to cluster some like colors together or like shapes together. That makes it look a little bit more gardeny than if everything is just spaced out. And then when you start putting things on the side, you don't necessarily have to feed them through the chicken wire. You can just put it like that. Stem's still going the same direction, but it's on the outside of the chicken wire. Oh man, so at this point your hands are probably hurting a little bit. It's becoming a big boy. Power through. We're almost done. And if you have a hard time getting the big stems through the chicken wire, just kind of twist them a little bit, and that'll help loosen things up a little. At around this point, it can be really helpful to go and check it out in a mirror so that you can kind of get a sense of the shape that's developing, because sometimes when you're this close to it, it can be a little hard to tell. So, I'm gonna go do that. All right, I'm back. So I'm just gonna keep on feeding. And again, to give it that gardeny look, you can just let things be a little bit layered in texture and in height. And inspect when you're putting in stems, just to make sure that there aren't any sharp pieces of chicken wire that are maybe gonna strip or puncture the stem, because that'll help, that'll prevent them from taking up as much water or, staying as fresh as they otherwise would. by this point, I've got my flowers all pretty much where I want them to be. I do a little bit more reorganizing, but mostly now it is just about making sure that the chicken wire is totally covered. So poking some greens in through the last little bottom pieces. Sweet. So by this time, I'm feeling pretty good. Check it out from all the sides. And when you're ready, you pull out the trusty bind wire. Cut yourself a length of it. And then wrap it around where your hands are. It's basically going to replace your hands. Then you're going to twist it together pretty tightly several times. And then when you are ready, grab your floral tape, pull off an end of that, and then wrap it around the wire. And the more that you, the thicker the band of tape that you use, the tighter that it's going to pull the flowers together. So if you want it to look pretty loose, you want to probably just wrap the tape on top of itself, if that makes any sense. And then the thing about floral tape is that you want to pull it and then push it into itself because it's heat activated. So the more you kind of stretch the tape and then push it down, it'll seal into itself. Then you've got this. Go ahead and chop the bottoms. So now you are all set. Actually, this got bigger than the mason jar that I originally planned on, so I'm gonna throw it in this vase instead. Ta-da! Very cool, thanks so much.